Viewer discretion is heavily suggested. Hello world. Welcome back to another video, where today I am going to be covering Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and the Pack-a-Punch names and what they mean. Now I've done this for World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, and now we're covering Infinite Warfare. So this game has 61 weapons, whereas Black Ops 3 had 66. So a little less, but with every Pack-a-Punch, there is the capacity to Pack-a-Punch again with the alien fuses in order to get a completely upgraded weapon, but also a completely different name. So, while there's 61 guns, there's going to be 120 plus names. And I played a Black Ops 3 Custom Zombies weapons pack of Infinite Warfare, so not every weapon is included, but I do have 45 additional names on top of that to add. I'm excited to cover this game, even though I haven't touched it since I was young, dumb, and full of cum. I don't know if I should include that. Actually, I'm leaving that in, because we are going to get into some crude humor, so we gotta loosen the bottle a little here. Anyways, I haven't played this game since I was young, so I'm excited to dive back into a Call of Duty that I do remember fondly, even though I may not have played it much. So, starting off, we have 8 assault rifles, then we have 8 submachine guns, then we have 5 light machine guns, 6 sniper rifles, 5 shotguns, 6 classic weapons, 6 handguns, 3 launchers, 7 melee weapons, and then 7 wonder weapons, and one of the wonder weapons has 4 variants, so really I'll be covering 10 different ones. Now before I start listing off the assault rifles and explaining those names, I want to give a big shout out to I has Rabies Infinite Warfare Weapon Pack. They credited the Skylord, Scubalula, and Zoic Mamor for getting these additional bonus names that I've got for you. Now let's get into the weapon names. Here we go. So we're going to start off with the NV4. The NV4 initially pack-a-punches into Reckoner, and then when you use the alien fuse, it turns into Masonic 4. Reckon is just a fancier way of saying calculator to work out, and I reckon a Reckoner would deliver a harsh reckoning to the zombies, but I didn't play this game long enough to know. As for Masonic 4, the weapon is modeled off the M4, M expanding to Masonic. Masonic may be related to Freemasonry, which is a famous fraternal organization with many rumors of secret societies, architectural perfection, and hidden knowledge. Freemasonry has 4 cardinal virtues: fortitude, justice, temperance, and prudence, which would explain Masonic 4. Now, when I played the Black Ops 3 weapons pack, this weapon pack-a-punched into Kigger Naren. This is a vulgar joke that is the epitome of some edgy 2000s era Xbox Live COD lobby humor. It is just pure shock value, swapping the first letters of both words, creating a racial slur, and Karen, who would likely complain to the manager about this weapon's name. Next up, we have the R3K. The R3K alludes to the 3-round burst of this weapon, the 3, that is. And when you pack-a-punch it, it turns into RJ24, which kind of seems like a play off of like a high-frequency radio electrical component, like an RJ45 Ethernet jack, for example. The 24 specifically makes me think of the next name, which is Black Mamba. While a Black Mamba usually means one of the fastest, venomous, and aggressive snake breeds in the world, it also makes me think of Kobe Bryant, due to the seemingly random 24. And an honorable mention to Erection, which is obviously crude humor on a more tame level than the last. The 3 can be received as an E because of leet speak, creating the obvious dick joke. Now, next up we have the K-Bar 32. When you pack-a-punch this guy, turns into Last Call. Now, Last Call, or Final Call, is a play off of K-Bar. In a bar, when a bartender says Last Call, it means that the bar will be closing shortly and the barman is taking the last orders for alcohol. When you Pack-a-Punch it again, it turns into Final Countdown, which is just another phrase for last chance and is also the name of a 1980s song referencing the approaching end. Now the bonus name for this one is Kick, Back, and Read. A pretty obvious backronym of K-Bar, but is pretty ironic when compared to the weapon and how it plays. It is a very hyper-aggressive, playstyle with like a blistering fast fire rate and chaotic, frantic run-and-gun gameplay. You definitely aren't kicking back and just reading with this weapon, which is very contradictory to the name. That sounds like a slogan to a library or a coffee shop. Next up we have the Type 2, which Pack-a-Punches into Red Rum Spree. Red Rum Spree is a reference to The Shining, with red rum being one of the most famous horror Easter eggs in history. This turns into murder when spelled backwards. The second Pack-a-Punch name is Demon's Gate, which relates to the gun's Japanese manufacturing or modeling. In Japanese folklore, the northeasterly direction is called the Kamon or Demon Gate, thought to be an unlucky direction where evil spirits pass through. Ironically enough, Northeast is also recognized in Hindu architecture as one of the most sacred directions. It represents the head of cosmic energy and is associated with deities like Shiva and Jupiter. However, it is considered highly sensitive, and if the northeastern rooms of a house are blocked or cluttered or contains impure rooms like a toilet or kitchen, it is believed to cause severe health, financial, and life issues. Lastly, the bonus name is Diabetes, which is a pretty easy connection to spot. Type 2, the original weapon name, is the most common form of diabetes. Alright, on to the next one. It is Volk. Volk is actually Russian for wolf. Just had to point that out. This is an electric AK class weapon, and suitably, Shock Therapy is the first Pack-a-Punch name, which is the treatment of mental illness by the artificial induction of coma or convulsions through use of electric current. The second Pack-a-Punch name is Electric Boogie, which is a rapid, erratic electrical discharge. The Electric Boogie is also another classic 1980s song, sticking to the theme. And the bonus name is Cuntosaurus V. The V obviously stands for Volk. The Cuntosaurus refers to two things. The Australian and UK slang for someone who is aggressively obnoxious, toxic, or a nightmare to deal with could refer to how this weapon was notoriously the ultimate sweat or meta weapon before it received multiple nerfs and was running rampant during its prime. The Saurus part of it may be referring to it just being an old relic of the past, being a futuristic energy AK-47, which is a model that is a dinosaur in the sense for the space-age time period. Next up we have the RVN. Now if you sound it out, RVN phonetically sounds like Raven, which is ironically in a game that Raven Software helped make. Unfortunately, I couldn't really find any connections to the first Pack-a-Punch name, which is Dr. Own. Dr. Own may be a play on drone, I'm not really sure, but the second Pack-a-Punch name, which is M.F. Stein, is likely a reference to the author R.L. Stein, known for his horror fiction, suggesting a scary upgrade, I suppose. I also only read it as Motherfucker Stein or Motherfucking Stein. And the bonus name in this weapons pack is Scan Gun. It's just for the sole purpose that the model of this gun looks like a retail scanner used for barcodes. Now the second to last one is the X-Eon, which Pack-a-Punches into Buchananator. Buchananator has many possible references, from the character Buchanan from the movie RoboCop, known for his destructive power, to James Buchanan, the 15th US president, and even Buchanan is also a Scotch brand. Buchananator could be referencing the Terminator with the suffix "ator," which is just another 1980s sci-fi action film. Lee Buchanan is also one of the developers, weapon designers, and artists at Infinity Ward. And when you Pack-a-Punch this gun a second time, it turns into Stupendous, which is a play on the word stupendous, and is the signature catchphrase and alter ego name of Stupendous Man, which is a fictional superhero identity created by Calvin in the comic strip Calvin and Hobbes. Thanks, Dad, for those comics. I could recognize this reference really easy because of you. It is also spelled with an A instead of an E, possibly playing off the word pan, because the auto-targeting hip-fire mechanic makes it easy to pan the weapon across your screen to auto-lock and kill zombies. I initially thought it may be a portmanteau of stupendous and pandemonium, suggesting something incredibly chaotic, but I don't really think that's what they're going for. And the honorable mention for this bonus name is number 6 Extra Dip. This one is quite obscure. The voice actor for Infinite Warfare's multiplayer announcer and the voice of the weapon manufacturer Kendall Ballistics, who makes the Xeon, is voiced by Clifton Powell. Clifton Powell also voices the character Big Smoke in GTA San Andreas. There's this famous scene where Big Smoke, CJ, and Sweet and Ryder pull up to the Cluck and Bell drive-thru, where he rattles off a massive order.
Give me a number 9, just like his. Let me get a number 6 with extra dip. I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda.
And last but not least, we have G-Rail, which pack-a-punches to Da Dalala. Da Dalala is a shout out to Chris Dalala, who was a prominent senior sound designer at Infinity Ward, who worked heavily on the weapons sounds for Infinite Warfare. He's just a guy. When you pack-a-punch this gun again, it turns into JD Payne, which seems to point to John DeHart, a veteran senior gameplay engineer at Infinity Ward. The Payne part seems to be referring to the last name DeHart, kind of sounding like The Hurt, but I don't know, that might be a stretch. Let me know what you think in the comments. As for the bonus name, we've got Shooter McGavin, who is the arrogant antagonist in the 1996 golf comedy Happy Gilmore. He's a professional golfer obsessed with winning the tour championship. We get to talking about golf because the pun hinges on the terminology. When a player hits a shot that goes perfectly straight, low, and hard along the ground or right on target, it is often called hitting it on a rail or a rail shot. Alright, now let's get into the submachine guns. The first one is ERAD. This pack-a-punches into Extra Radical, and then pack-a-punches again into Death's Calling Card. Extra Radical is just an expansion of ERAD, and is slang from the 1980s to 1990s skater and surfing scene. Death's Calling Card is ironic because it relates to Call of Duty's calling card personalizations in each game's barracks. The gun is just now Death's Calling Card. The bonus name for this one is just as important as the first one, Reagan. This is a literal mirror reflection of the previously described racial slur, created by internet trolls to get past auto chat filters and censorship bots and moderation. Next up we have the FHR-40. This pack-a-punches into FHR-420, and then pack-a-punches again into Contact High. Both of these names are just a play off of smoking weed. 420 is a weed reference, and you can certainly get Contact High being in close proximity to somebody smoking. The bonus name for this one is 4,000 Fine Hotels and Resorts. This is just a direct play off of Amex or American Express and their ultra-exclusive perk system. Amex FHR explicitly stands for Fine Hotels and Resorts. The 4,000 just comes from the 40, but better. Then we move into Karma 45, which is pack-a-punched into Fate's Hand, and then again into Karma's B1 TCH. These names are both a play off Karma. The Hand of Fate is an idiom to the idea that fate or destiny controls people and events. Karma's B1 TCH is lead speak for Karma's bitch, which is a direct play off the famous saying that karma is a bitch. The bonus name for this one is PaP Prophecy. This one's less clear, but feel free to find a connection and leave a comment on your own accord and volition. I can explain both words, but that's about it. PaP is a racial slur predominantly used in the UK and Europe against people of Pakistani or South Asian descent. Prophecy is related to karma solely because they are both mystical and spiritual concepts. The next weapon is the RPR Evo, which pack-a-punches into Maximum Terror, and then again into Death's Autograph. Maximum is a play off the word maximum, may be referring to Samantha Maxis and her father Dr. Ludwig Maxis. Death's Autograph seems referential to RPR being short for Reaper. The gun and its bullet holes is the signature of death. The bonus name is Bluetooth Hose. In any shooter game, a fully automatic weapon with obscenely high fire rates and large magazine sizes are commonly called bullet hoses. This fits the spray and pray nature of this SMG, and Bluetooth is simply because of the futuristic energy weapon, suggesting that the bullets have some, magical connection between the magazine and your stock. Moving on, we have the HVR, which pack-a-punches into Pray and Spray, and then again into Swan Seong. Typically the phrase is spray and pray, but for some reason not in this case. The HVR has pretty good hipfire accuracy, so that's why you would get that name. Swan Seong is a difficult one. There is a Sung T. Cho who works as an environment artist and senior staff artist for Infinity Ward. Maybe it's relating to that. Swan Sung sounds like Swan Song, which is a metaphorical phrase for a person's final gesture or act or performance right before death or retirement, which originates from the ancient myth that swans sing a beautiful, mournful song right before they die. The bonus name for this one is Raps and the IRS. I'm not really sure where Raps comes from, but I do cover a rapper duo later in this video. Maybe it has something to do with that. It could be an expansion off of HVR, I don't know. As for the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service is responsible for collecting taxes, which is memed as an unstoppable, terrifying entity by internet culture. Next we have the VPR, which pack-a-punches into D-Savage, and then again into Charya. D-Savage is a reference to an Infinity Ward employee, David Savage. The D could also stand for dual or double, because the gun fires from 2 barrels. Charya is a lifestyle of good hygiene. It also phonetically sounds like Charyu, which is to burn or blacken something with an extreme heat. The weapon also came out alongside Shaolin Shuffle, which is a big nod to 1970s kung fu and martial arts cinema. In Taekwondo, the command Sharyo, or Sharyat, translates directly from Korean to attention. The bonus name for this is Jewel God, which may be a reference to the 2 barrels. If you had 2 smoking barrels of jewels, I suppose you would be a jewel god. The VPR is a 3-letter spelling of the word vapor, and in the mid-2010s, electronic vaping became really popular from brands like Juul or Geek Bars. In a way, this gun does kind of look like a unique blocky design of an e-cig or Juul device. Next we have the Trencher. The Trencher pack-a-punches into Moody J28, and then again into Los Vantes. The Trencher is heavily modeled after the real-world MP18 and MP28, both German machine guns used in trench warfare in World War I. Moody suggests unpredictable behavior, and J28 is referring to that MP28 gun model. As for Los Vantes, it translates from Spanish into the rods, which doesn't really make sense to me. I don't think that's what they were going for. Although it does translate from French into the vaunted ones. Vaunted is something that's like praised or boasted about in an excessive way. It may also relate to Los Angeles in some way, since Infinity Ward's main dev studio is in Woodland Hills, California. It may also be a play on Los Santos from Grand Theft Auto 5, but I kind of doubt it. Anyways, the bonus name is BLT Combo. This one's not really clear as to how it relates to the weapon. The only thing I could relate to this weapon was that a trencher is also a heavy piece of industrial construction machinery used to dig narrow dirt paths for pipes and cables. When contractors purchase a heavy-duty trencher attachment, the standard versatile digging chain you can buy for it is called a combo chain, which is a combination of dirt and rock teeth alternating together. BLT seems very random to add to the combo, considering there isn't much to connect between a sandwich and combo, but maybe BLT stands for something else. Bacon, lettuce, and trenchers. The last submachine gun is the Ragin EMX, which pack-a-punches into Ragin EMX2 and then into Ragin EMX3. Ragin is a Japanese mythological god who controls thunder, lightning, and storms, which relates to the SMG being an energy weapon. X2 is better, X3 is best. Fairly simple. The bonus name for this one is Cajun Fries. This one is simply a phonetic play on the rhyme between Ragin and Cajun. Seems like there may be a reference with the electrical components, considering that something getting shocked could also be described as getting fried. So Cajun Fries the zombies. Alright, moving on from fries, we've got our Lightmachine Guns. We've got 5 of them. Let's start with RAW. RAW stands for Rapid Assault Weapon, just in case anybody wanted to know, which it pack-a-punches into Monkey's Paw, and then furthermore into Demon's Claw. Monkey's Paw is from W. Jacobs' famous 1902 horror short story about the monkey's paw, in which it is used to grant wishes, usually with negative consequences. Like, you could ask for $1 million, and you do get $1 million, except now you have 5 dead family members who just gave you their inheritance now. Demon's Claw, I couldn't find any references. I suppose it would be similar to Monkey's Paw, just by expanding from a monkey to a demon. And instead of talking about the paw of a monkey, they're talking about the claw of a demon. Well, when you pack-a-punch this weapon in the weapons pack, it turns into Gordon. This relates to a old meme from Gordon Ramsay yelling raw and talking about salmon.
Oh, man. Blue team, come here. Declan.
Chef, coming out.
Just touch the skin. Touch the skin. Look at the color of it. Look at it again. Look at it again. Absolutely. Come on, guys, seriously.
Next, we have the Mauler, which pack-a-punches into Mangy Mutt, and then furthermore into Rabid Pack. A mutt is a mixed breed dog, and mangy describes an animal suffering from mange, a severe skin disease that causes hair loss, scabs, and a sickly appearance. A rabid pack turns that one sick dog into a whole pack with rabies. Now, moving on from sick dogs, the weapons pack makes this weapon Chew Toy. So now we're focusing on the toy of said sickly dogs. Then moving on, we have Titan, which pack-a-punches into Mayhem, and then again into Titanomachy, or Titanomachy? I don't know how to pronounce that, bro. Well, Mayhem is just amplified power and uncontrollability or chaotic damage. Titanomachy is a Greek myth battle between the Titans, old gods led by Cronus, and the Olympians, which is the new generation led by Zeus. And when you pack-a-punch it in this weapons pack, it turns into Saturn's bitch. Titan is the largest orbiting moon around the planet Saturn, and it's stuck there in the place it deserves, being Saturn's bitch. Then the 4th light machine gun we're going to talk about is the Augur, which pack-a-punches into Single Wrecker, and then again into King Richard. An auger is a handheld rotary drill or mechanical boring tool. A Single Wrecker is suggesting it's a weapon capable of causing significant destruction on its own, since a wrecker is a machine or vehicle used to tear down buildings, clear debris, or tow away destroyed vehicles. King Richard could be a reference to King Richard I of England, famously known as Richard the Lionheart. He was a legendary medieval king celebrated as an elite military mastermind and towering warrior who led his armies from the front lines. When you pack-a-punch it in this weapons pack, it turns into Juan's Weed Whackers. This is some classic blue-collar landscaping humor, as we just discussed, with an auger being a tool in construction/destruction. A weed whacker is a type of landscaping tool to cut grass. There's kind of a joke in meme culture about landscaping crews consisting of Juan, who is the guy who can clear an entire overgrown acre of land in 30 seconds flat with nothing but a trimmer and pure determination. Then moving on to Atlas, the final LMG. Atlas is a titan in Greek mythology, condemned to hold up the heavens on his shoulders forever. Oh, I forgot to mention that Atlas pack-a-punches into Brick initially, and then again into Boom Boom Boom. Brick suggests a heavy and solid impact fitting for an LMG, as well as fitting for the Atlas, which is a heavy book full of maps and geographical data. Boom 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 is onomatopoeia for a series of explosions like a high-caliber weapon, but seems to be a connection to the Outcast. The chorus of B.O.B., Bombs Over Baghdad, by the rap duo, repeats Boom 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 in the chorus. I'm uncultured and don't really know much about Outcast, so I had to do some research, and I did find quite a bit out for this weapon. The album cover of Stankonia is also made into custom Lego brick building blocks made by some fans and builders. In East Atlanta, Outcast is famously painted into the landscape and is often referred to as two dope boys on a brick wall. Brick is also southern slang for a kilo of narcotics, a big piece of jewelry, or even cold weather. Outcast occasionally references where these terms were born, especially in tracks from Southern playlistic idyllic music. And last but not least, one of the main inspirations behind their sound was the 1970s funk band Brick. Sleepy Brown, one of the three people of Organized Noise, Outcast production team, was the son of Jimmy Brown, who was the lead singer for Brick. Crazy connection surrounding Brick and Boom Boom Boom. And then, of course, this weapon pack decides to make it something as simple as Tyrone's geography homework. Another play off the book Atlas. Tyrone would have used an atlas for his geography homework here. Now we're moving on to the sniper rifles, which we have 6 of them, starting with the KBS Longbow. This pack-a-punches into Wasp's Stinger, and then furthermore into Scorpion's Sting. A longbow is a medieval weapon known for its massive range and slow draw time. A Wasp's Stinger inflicts an incredibly painful, fast, and irritating sting. A Scorpion's Sting is even more lethal, being neurotoxic and sometimes outright fatal. And the bonus name for this one is contradictory to the previous 2 names, Nerf Longshot CS6. This is just the ultimate childhood flex. The Nerf N-Strike Icon Series Longshot CS6 blaster is the ultimate symbol of status in your childhood neighborhood. This is the king of classic bolt-action foam blasters. Moving on, we have the EBR-800. This pack-a-punches into TMI-4U, and then again into PHUXOR-U. TMI-4U is shorthand text for too much information for you. That series of letters is something of a goldmine of classic gaming culture. This is the best leet-speak PaP name in the franchise, hands down. In leet-speak, words are often intentionally misspelled with suffixes like OR or XOR or ZOR. For example, hacker, haxer, haxer, sucker, suxer, suxer, poner, ponzer, ponzers. So in this case, it is phonetically fucks or you, but could be interpreted as fuck you or fucks you. The bonus name for this is King Box. This just refers to the model of the gun as far as I can tell. Its silhouette is incredibly blocky and rectangular like a box. In heavy custom manufacturing and warehouse logistics, the largest standard structural boxes used to package massive components or massive amounts of components would be referred to as king boxes or master cartons. Similar to candy, a king-size candy is a bigger and more amount of that candy, or maybe it's a Burger King reference? God damn, I'm American. Moving on, we have the Widowmaker. This pack-a-punches into Shooting Star, and then pack-a-punches again into Anubis's Touch. Shooting Star is a fast, rare, and impactful event, usually signifying good fortune. Anubis's Touch is in reference to the Egyptian god of death, which you would not want to be touched by that guy. Pause. The bonus name for this one is Weaponized Foreskin. The Widowmaker is a unique 2-round burst, which is designed with a reciprocating barrel shroud. This means every time you fire, the entire outer metal sleeve of the front barrel smoothly slides backward and forward over the inner barrel to cycle the mechanism. Then the 4th sniper rifle we're talking about is the DMR-1. which Pack-a-Punches into Black Widow, and Pack-a-Punches again into Widow's Bite. A Black Widow is a venomous spider that's deadly and agile. Widow's Bite is the deadly infliction that this spider can cause. The bonus name for this rifle is Walmart Shopper, which I can't really think of anything besides maybe the fact that this marksman rifle seems like it would be bought in bulk off a clearance rack, maybe? I don't know. The next sniper rifle is the Trek 50, which Pack-a-Punches into self-service rifle, and then again into the Monto. Self-service rifle is making a joke on the reload process. In the real world, a self-service station, like a buffet or gas pump, requires you to do all the manual labor yourself. This weapon is forced to a slow, single-bullet reload cycle after every shot. Upgrading it at least gives you significantly reduced reload speed, but it's still one shot. The Monto is a very niche US military Easter egg. In the 1950s, the US developed a highly unique anti-tank vehicle designated as the M50 Ontos. The name combines and shortens M50 Ontos by removing 50 and S to have Monto. Fun fact, Ontos is the Greek word for the thing. And the honorable mention name for this gun is T was a wreck. This is just splitting the T and wreck to make it sound like a disaster. The single shot mechanic is a wreck to try and use, and it wrecks everything in front of its single shot. The last sniper we're going to cover here is the Proteus, which Pack-a-Punches into Mackenzie, and then again into Gattaca. Proteus is an ancient prophetic Greek mythology sea god, capable of changing his shape and form at will to avoid being captured, which relates to the weapon sight mechanics, also being able to change its shape. Mackenzie is a tribute to David Mackenzie, who was a prominent lead cinematic designer and animator at Infinity Ward, with the Z being capitalized to enforce the idea of zombies or just because it is stylistic. Gattaca is a reference to another Infinity Ward employee, Robert Gattaca, who was a veteran senior systems programmer and software engineer. Gattaca is also a movie that takes place in a futuristic world focused on genetic modification, DNA perfection, and human evolution. The bonus name for this one is Organic Protein. Protein is a play off Proteus, as they sound similar. Organic may relate to the zombies, and it's making it seem like the shotgun sniper hybrid eats up the zombies' organs like they're nothing but some protein. Now, speaking of shotguns, here's the shotguns. Now, like I said, we have 5 shotguns, which first one is the Reaver. This Pack-a-Punches into Grim Reaver, and then furthermore into Death Reaver. A Reaver means a plunderer or a raider, or someone who forcibly deprives others of life and property. Grim Reaver is a personification of death and a clever play on words for the Grim Reaper. Death Reaver just reinforces the theme of death that we've got going here. The bonus name for this one is Hey Beavis. This name did not age very well considering BO6's skin. Beavis is from a 90s MTV animation called Beavis and Butthead, which managed to land themselves into a non-animated COD Black Ops 6 somehow. The second shotgun is Banshee, which Pack-a-Punches into Sacrificial Lamb, and then again into Witch's Brew. A banshee is a female spirit from Irish folklore whose piercing high-pitched scream acts as a fatal omen, warning a family that one of their members is about to die, which is ironic coming from the shotgun that shoots like a sound wave. A sacrificial lamb is an innocent creature that has given up or is to be slaughtered to appease a higher power, to prevent a disaster, or to fulfill like a dark curse or something like that. Now, speaking of dark curses, Witch's Brew. Witch's Brew is a cauldron full of magical concoction, implying a potent and perhaps unpredictable effect. The bonus name for this one is Cortana Coochie. Banshee is a vehicle in Halo, so that's why we're talking about the Halo. Cortana is a character from Halo, and Banshee is a vehicle in Halo. The weapon has a lot of vibrant neon blue, which is iconic for Cortana's character model. Coochie is slang for a woman's vagina, and to top it all off, the zombies are blown by Cortana's coochie. I can't believe I just said that. The next shotgun is the DCM-8, which Pack-a-Punches into Soul Sonic 4 RCE, and then Pack-a-Punches again into Supersonic. Soul Sonic 4RCE is a direct nod to 1980s hip-hop and electro-funk group Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force. That 4RCE is leet speak for the word force. Supersonic is the measure of speed that's faster than sound, and Supersonic is also sticking with the 1980s theme with the song Supersonic by the female rap group JJ Fad. The bonus name for this one is Beatboxing Barbie. This full auto shotgun shoots in a fast rhythm like a beatboxer. Barbie may be part of the alliteration, but also may compare to the smooth, bulky, futuristic chassis that looks like plastic from this weapon. The second to last shotgun is the Rack 9, which pack-a-punches into Wolf's Bane, and then again into Wolf's Fang. In werewolf folklore, Wolf's Bane is a plant that's highly toxic against werewolves, and Wolf's Fang means you have moved on from the plant that kills the wolf to the literal fang of that wolf. The bonus name for this one is Busty Babe. This is a play off a double entendre with the word rack. After firing a shot, you have to rack the gun by pulling the front slide all the way to the back and slam it forward. A rack can also refer to a woman's breast, hence Busty Babe. The last shotgun is the M2187. Now, I want to talk about the base name for a second here. M2187 is actually a Star Wars reference in itself. The number 2187 is arguably the most famous hidden number in the Star Wars universe. It is the cell number where Princess Leia is imprisoned on the Death Star in A New Hope. Decades later, it became the Stormtrooper designation for Finn as FN-2187 in The Force Awakens. George Lucas originally pulled the number from a 1963 Canadian short film titled 2187, which heavily influenced his concept of the Force. Well, this shotgun pack-a-punches into Jacko Attack, and then pack-a-punches again into Self-Deprecator. Jacko Attack is a play on Jack-o'-lantern and is a shout-out to Jack O'Hara, who worked as a prominent game designer at Infinity Ward. It's also a pun combining his first name with attack. Self-Deprecator is a humorous name implying the weapon may be unreliable or have a self-damaging effect, or implying it's letting itself down. The bonus name for this one is Amber Ya Heard. This refers to Amber Heard, but it's almost asking a question, you know, like, Amber, you heard? Anyways, this gun was meta dual wield. The entire community playing in multiplayer were traumatized by this loud and toxic gun, which may relate to Johnny Depp in some case. Alright, on to the classic weapons. Starting off, we have the OSA, which pack-a-punches into AJ360, and then again into Money Shot. AJ360 is combining the weapon's actual name, ARX160, with AJ Hamilton, who is a gameplay programmer and designer at Infinity Ward. And the most famous trick shot in COD history, the 360 no-scope.
Oh my god! Are they not recording? Are you recording, trick shot? Oh my god! That was disgusting!
A money shot is a film production term, as well as being referential to hitting that 360 no-scope from the previous name. The bonus name for this weapon is Online Savings Account. Classic backronym which just takes the previous names into account, literally. This makes that money shot safe by putting it into an online savings account. Moving on, we have the MacTav 45. This pack-a-punches into 45 RPM, and then pack-a-punches again into Crispy Arrow. MacTav is a direct tribute to the beloved legendary protagonist John Soap MacTavish, and the 45 is referring to the ammunition it uses. For 45 RPM, RPM stands for both rotations per minute as well as rounds per minute. A 45 rotations per minute record is a small vinyl disc typically used to release a musical artist's standalone singles. At the same time, firing way more than 45 rounds per minute, we have the reference to the caliber. Could you imagine if it was actually 45 rounds per minute? Crispy Arrow is relative to the very little recoil you experience firing this weapon, making the bullets feel like they fly as crisp as an arrow. Other than that, I don't really have anything for a reference. As for the bonus name, this is Thousand Island Dressing. This hinges on the first 3 letters of the weapon's name, Mac. Once you think of a McDonald's Big Mac, you think of the special sauce. The recipe of said sauce is a slightly tweaked version of Thousand Island Dressing, making that delicious Big Mac. Moving on to the next weapon, we've got the TF-141, which pack-a-punches into Surgical Striker, and then pack-a-punches again into Death's Reflection. TF-141 stands for the Multinational Special Operations Unit led by Captain Price and Ghost. Task Force 141. This sniper is also the M200 intervention and is the classic and most iconic sniper rifle in gaming history in my opinion. Surgical Striker is a fancy way to say precise and targeted attacker. This also may be a nod to quickscoping, which popularized the intervention.
Overkill, kill-tacular, kill-trocity, kill-majaro, kill.
Get you where you standing, I don't think you understand it. I can't stand you, not gonna take that sitting down. Okay, I slam my body, drop like drowning pool. He's 17, boy, stay in school. Ain't gonna make me lose my cool, that fan gon' blow right out the blue. I see you when I see you.
Alright, enough of these edits. Death's Reflection is likely an expression of the viewing end of zombies because of the sniper scope. This also is a double meaning because it could be a mirror reflecting the user of the sniper. This points to the zombies already being dead, and that you are the Grim Reaper to the zombies, both through the reflection of either side of this sniper scope. The bonus name for this one is a little random. It is 1995 Ford Fiesta all-wheel drive. This is comparing the intervention to the 30-year-old car, and I can't really think of any way it relates to it. Moving on, we have the S-Ravage. Now, the S-Ravage pack-a-punches into Gremlin, and then pack-a-punches again into Killin' Me Smalls. The S-Ravage is the Spaz 12, and the S is a direct reference to that Spaz acronym. A Gremlin is a mischievous creature with erratic behavior and actions. In its folklore, the creature is blamed for causing inexplicable mechanical malfunctions, glitches, and chaos in aircraft and machinery. Whatever you do, don't feed them after midnight. Killin' Me Smalls is a legendary homage to the iconic line, "You're killing me, Smalls," from the 1993 coming-of-age sports comedy film The Sandlot. Ham Porter famously yells this in pure frustration at the main character, Scotty Smalls, who has no idea what a campfire s'more is. The bonus name for this one is Jeff's Dirty Bong. This unserious piece of drug paraphernalia name refers to the pump action being held in a similar way to a giant glass water pipe. The shotgun muzzle flash leaves a huge cloud of gray smoke after shot, I suppose, and I guess this shotgun is apparently in the possession of a guy named Jeff. Moving on, we have the M1, which pack-a-punches into T-Money, and then again into Organ Donor. The T in T-Money likely stands for targeting or tracker, as when you pack-a-punch it, it adds an aggressive auto-aim mechanic when ADS. As for money, this is suggesting the weapon is valuable or earns points effectively. An organ donor is someone who generously elects to have their organs harvested upon death to save somebody else's life. The bonus name for this one is Cha-Ching. This relates to the classic M1 ping sound and money, like the other PaP name. The last classic weapon is the Hornet, which pack-a-punches into Deckard, and then pack-a-punches again into Chen Checker. Hornet serves as a metaphor for its firing behavior. When you pull the trigger, the gun shoots a swarm of fast buzzing bullets that sting targets exactly like an angry group of hornets. Deckard means strong and hardy, but is a slight intentional misspelling of John DeHart. Just like we covered earlier with the G-Rail, Deckard is also a nod to Rick Deckard, the protagonist from the 1982 sci-fi movie Blade Runner, whose signature weapon is a highly unique and bulky blaster pistol. Chen Checker is a play off the phrase chin checker, which is a sudden devastating punch to the chin to check their toughness and see if they can stay on their feet or if they'll drop to the floor in a knockout. It is also a direct reference to Jiang Chen, a technical director, principal software engineer, and tools programmer at Infinity Ward. In game and software development, a checker is an automated tool or compiler script run by engineers to scan thousands of lines of code for errors, memory leaks, or glitches. In this weapons pack, it pack-a-punches into Stapler and the Hole Puncher. The Hornet shoots at very high speed. The rhythmic metallic firing could be compared to a stapler. The gun does have a sort of stapler gun look to it and is only fitting to have a hole puncher with it. Now moving on to the handguns. Now for the handguns, we start off with the EMC. The EMC Pack-a-Punches into Starbright, and then Pack-a-Punches again into THC. Starbright refers to something shining or brilliant, often used in lullabies. THC is a psychoactive compound found in cannabis. The joke could also be a play on energy terms for the acronym THC, as it could be interpreted as something like thermal high density current or like total hydrocarbon combustion, which would hypothetically describe the volatile chemical composition of the energy battery, but it seems to just be that reference to that weed. Now the bonus name for this one is Rockstar and Shark Cards. Rockstar is the game developer for the Grand Theft Auto series, and Shark Cards are part of the microtransaction currency in the games. Now the second handgun is the Oni. The Oni Pack-a-Punches into Ogre, and then again into One-Eyed Willy. An Oni is a ferocious horned demon, ogre, or troll in Japanese folklore, which obviously ties to ogre. One-Eyed Willy is a mythical pirate captain from the iconic 1985 film The Goonies, where the children set out on a quest to find the hidden booby-trapped pirate ship containing One-Eyed Willy's lost treasure. The bonus name for this one is Oni-chan. This is Japanese of the famous anime trope word chan, which is a cute and informal way of saying big brother. The next pistol is the Kendall 44. This Pack-a-Punches into Baby's Breath, and then again into Fire and Brimstone. Baby's Breath is a flower that is associated with purity, innocence, everlasting love, and humility. It's just stark irony, as this pistol's explosive means is quite contradictory. Fire and Brimstone is a phrase of biblical wrath and or divine punishment. And the bonus name for this one is the Ken doll. This is just a play on what the name sounds like. This is the famous plastic boyfriend of Barbie. Now moving on, we have the Hailstorm, which Pack-a-Punches into Tropical Thunder, and then again into Category 5. A hailstorm is a weather phenomenon characterized by pellets of frozen rain. Tropical Thunder is a movie reference to, I think, Tropic Thunder. And then Category 5 is the absolute highest, most catastrophic classification a hurricane can get on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. This means it has winds of 157 miles per hour or higher. The bonus name for this weapon is Haiti, because Hurricane Melissa was a big tropical storm that was a Category 4 and 5 cyclone that caused catastrophic damage in Haiti and neighboring countries. The next weapon is the UDM, which Pack-a-Punches into Sandy Balls, and then again into Joffin' Around. Sandy Balls is a playful joke dedicated to Sandy Cruz, a long-term associate producer and production manager at Infinity Ward. It is also a hilarious double entendre, sounding like getting sand stuck in uncomfortable places while hanging out at the beach. Joffin' Around is a play on the phrase goofing around, suggesting a playful or chaotic nature. Jeff or Joff, I'm guessing it's Jeff, so maybe it's Jeffing around. Jeff Donald is also the lead gameplay animator who was responsible for overseeing how weapons are held, how characters move, and how firearms mechanically cycle, reload, and animate on your screen. The bonus name for this weapon is Jaeger Bomb. The UDM is heavily based on the classic Jaeger pistol design, so this is just a double entendre of this pistol and Jägermeister being mixed into a Jaeger bomb. The next pistol is the Stallion 44, which Pack-a-Punches into Heartseeker, and then again into Barkeeper's Pal. A stallion is a wild, untamed cowboy horse. Heartseeker implies accuracy in hitting a vital spot, maybe referring to the Western gunslinger tropes of a cold-blooded outlaw or sheriff who shoots with lethal precision in standoffs. Barkeeper's Pal is sticking with the theme. In the 1800s American frontier, the local saloon was the center of town life. If a chaotic bar fight broke out or a group of outlaws refused to pay, the bartender couldn't wait around for the sheriff, so they would keep their best friend and handy revolver hidden right beneath the counter to restore instant order. The name Barkeeper's Friend is also a real-world industrial cleaning powder used to scrub away tough rust, tarnish, and hard stains from metal and porcelain surfaces. The bonus name for this one is Italian Stallion. This is just a direct reference to Rocky Balboa, whose famous boxing name is the Italian Stallion. Now moving on, we have the launchers. For For the launchers, we have the Spartan SA-3, which Pack-a-Punches into Iron Eagle, and then Pack-a-Punches again into Geiger's Spear. Spartan is a direct nod to the ancient Greek warriors of Sparta. Iron Eagle is in direct tribute to mean military aviation superiority and airborne dominance. An eagle is the definitive symbol of such, like with the F-15 Eagle fighter jet. It is also a movie from the late 1980s. Geiger's Spear is in reference to Hans Geiger, who made the first Geiger counter, which is used to detect and measure radiation levels. This likely is to say that the launcher shoots radioactive bombs. The bonus name, which is the last honorable mention bonus name that I've got here in the weapons pack for Infinite Warfare, which is just another crossover into Halo territory, Sierra 117. Master Chief is one of the few super soldiers named Spartans. His official military rank is S117. Now moving on to the next launcher, we've got the P-Law. The P-Law Pack-a-Punches into Knight's Rider, and then Pack-a-Punches again into Law and Order. P-Law stands for Plasma Light Anti-Tank Weapon, as this is the M72 Law sci-fi futuristic interpretation. Knight's Rider is a direct homage to Knight Rider, the 1982 action crime TV series starring David Hasselhoff as Michael Knight. David Hasselhoff is a major character in Zombies in Spaceland as he plays the park's resident DJ and can be a companion to help you shoot zombies. Law and Order is a legal system joke from the original launcher's name, and it is a play on Law and Order, a classic TV crime drama franchise. The last launcher we have is the Howitzer, which Pack-a-Punches into Loose Cannon, and then again into Ben's Brigade. Loose Cannon is a saying that refers to a massive, heavy iron cannon on an old wooden warship that broke free from its safety ropes during a storm or battle. As the ship rocked, the loose cannon would wildly roll across the deck, crushing sailors and smashing holes into the ship's own walls. Today, it refers to an unpredictable, unhinged person who is a danger to everyone around them. Ben's Brigade is a direct shout out to Benjamin Jones, who served as a prominent senior producer at Infinity Ward. A brigade is a massive tactical unit composed of several thousand soldiers, typically commanded by a high-ranking officer, making a one-man army punchline. Now, we move on to the melee weapons, where we're going to start off with the axe. The axe Pack-a-Punches into Peacemaker, and then again into Hammer of Judgment. Peacemaker has a few things. A piece is slang for a gun, which is ironically used for an axe. It's also a pun of Peacemaker, which is also ironic for something you kill with, but is historically honored as the Colt single-action army revolver, was famously nicknamed the Peacemaker, credited with winning the West and restoring peace to the frontier. It is also a literal peacemaker because it can chop something into a bunch of pieces. Hammer of Judgment is also ironic for an axe and evokes a sense of divine retribution or finality, and may be a World of Warcraft reference as that is a weapon in the game. Now moving on, we have the Kirasute Gomen, which Pack-a-Punches into Sprites of Hell, and then again into Feral Instinct. I almost couldn't decide whether to put this in melee or wonder weapons, but I decided to keep it in melee weapons. Kirasute Gomen is a Japanese term referring to the right of a samurai to kill a lower-ranking person for perceived disrespect. This is also a reference to a heavy metal band called Trivium, as their opening track of their Shogun album is literally titled Kirasute Gomen. Their songs heavily revolve around dark metal themes, which could lead to our next name, Sprites of Hell. Sprites are often mischievous spirits, and Sprites of Hell suggests demonic or fiery entities. Feral Instinct suggests a primal and aggressive fighting style, since feral means wild and untamed. The name fits the blade, literally manifesting a purple, ghostly black tiger that charges forward in a straight line. The third melee weapon we're going to talk about is the Nunchaku, which Pack-a-Punches into Shi no Tsukai, and then again into Kitsune. Shi no Tsukai is Japanese for Messenger of Death, or Angel of Death. Kitsune is a mythical, highly intelligent fox spirit possessed of immense magical abilities in Japanese folklore. As a kitsune grows older and wiser, it gains more tails up to 9 and the power to shapeshift into human form. They're famously known as tricksters. Next, we're going to talk about the golf club, which Pack-a-Punches into Bogey Down, and then again into eagle. Bogey down is a golf term for scoring 1 over par, 1 stroke over what's par for the hole. Bogey down is also a play on boogie down, which is 1970s funk and disco slang for getting down on the dance floor or dancing with a lot of energy. Bogey down is also a way of saying enemy KIA or bad guy down. Eagle is also a golf term for scoring 2 under par, so 2 strokes below what is expected. Next we have the machete, which Pack-a-Punches into carver, and then again into slice and dice. A carver is someone who carves or cuts. In the cabin in the woods slasher film tropes like Friday the 13th, the masked killer who stalks with the blade is usually considered as a carver or a butcher. Slice and dice is a common phrase describing rapid and repeating cutting. In 1980s and 1990s television commercials, kitchen infomercials for multi-blade food processors or mandolin slicers, like the Veg-O-Matic, would use taglines like "It slices, it dices, it makes julienne fries." Slice and dice then became a pop culture idiom for breaking something down into tiny pieces effortlessly. Next, we're going to talk about the spiked bat, which Pack-a-Punches into homer and then again into grand slam. Homer is a baseball slang term for a home run, in which a ball is hit so well it's out of the playing field, they get to go to home base for free. Grand slam is a baseball term for a home run hit as well, with all 3 bases occupied, which is the highest possible score to obtain in one play, which is 4 runs in a single swing. The last melee weapon we're going to talk about is the 2-headed axe, which Pack-a-Punches into berserker and then again into Janus. Now, berserker is a Norse warrior who fought with wild fury, and in this case with like 2 axes, blind to pain and fatigue, focused mainly with blind rage. Janus is the Roman god of beginnings, time, duality, passages, endings, and transitions, often depicted with 2 faces looking in opposite directions. This mirrors the 2 heads of the axe or the duality in its function. Now we talk about the wonder weapons. Starting off, we have the Forge Freeze, which Pack-a-Punches into Frostbite, and then again into Popsicle. Frostbite is a freezing injury resulting in loss of feeling, tissue death, and eventual amputation of affected limbs. Popsicle is just a pun on popsicles. This is probably a purposeful use of the word sick, meaning diseased, gruesome, or morbid. Now moving on, we have the Discord, which Pack-a-Punches into MC Poplocker. And then this and a few other weapons also have names for a second Pack-a-Punch in the game files, but didn't actually make it into the base game. So this, along with like the next 3, I think, 2 or 3, has names that were found in the game code. And specifically for Discord, there was Tasmanian Turnstile found. Discord means a lack of harmony or a harsh mix of sounds. This misspelling acts as a literal description of what the weapon does in a direct musical pun. In early 1980s hip-hop and rap culture, MC stands for Master of Ceremonies or Microphone Controller. Poppin' and locking are iconic street dance styles that originated in the 1970s and became very popular in the 80s. Now, Tasmanian Turnstile may be referring to Taz, the Tasmanian devil from Looney Tunes, but Turnstile is a dance rewording of turnstile, which is a mechanical gate or barrier with revolving arms used to control the flow of people entering a venue. Think like an amusement park or subway station. Now, next we have Face Melter. Face Melter Pack-a-Punches into 4th of July, and the name found in game code was Solar Flare for the second one. Having your face melted is the ultimate praise in heavy metal and rock during the 1980s. It meant the guitarist played a solo so fast, loud, and incredible that it completely blew the audience away. And having the weapon cause the zombies to blast up in the air like a rocket, leaving their liquidizing legs behind, is a perfect explanation of what you see a lot of on the 4th of July in America. Speaking of, it is 2 days away. These zombies are a great comparison to the fireworks in the sky. Now, a solar flare is a colossal sudden explosion of high energy radiation bursting from the surface of the sun. It releases incredibly high amounts of plasma, heat, and electromagnetic energy into space that is capable of disrupting satellites and electronics on Earth. Now, the 4th wonder weapon we're going to talk about is the Head Cutter. The Head Cutter Pack-a-Punches into Guillotine, and then the name found in the files is Bloody Mary. Now, Head Cutter uses a unique mechanic of freezing the zombies in place while their head expands like a balloon until it inevitably pops. A guillotine is an iconic blade-dropping beheading device used for executions, famously used during the French Revolution to carry out mass public executions. In Western urban legends, Bloody Mary is a malevolent ghost invoked by chanting her name repeatedly into a mirror in a dark room. On a historical level, Bloody Mary was the infamous nickname given to Queen Mary I of England, given her aggressive, ruthless executions of hundreds of religious dissenters, many of whom were publicly executed. Now moving on, we have the Shredder, which pack-a-punches into Meat Grinder, and then again into Disintegrator. Shredder is pretty self-explanatory when you shoot it at a zombie. A Meat Grinder is just a device for grinding meat, although it usually isn't referring to zombie meat. Disintegrator is just a perfect finish to the weapon name progression. Now moving on, we have the Vlad. Now the Vlad has 4 variants, and I'm going to explain each one. First, we have the Whirlwind EF5, then we have the Trap-O-Matic, then we have Acid Rain, and last but not least, we have Ben Franklin. Vlad is the perfect name for this ancient crossbow, as I covered with the VMP and Impaler in Black Ops 3. Vlad the Impaler is the 15th century Prince of Wallachia who served as inspiration for Count Dracula, known for executing his enemies with giant sharp wooden stakes. Now the Deer upgrade makes Whirlwind EF5. Whirlwind refers to the massive pressure wave that blows zombies back. EF5 is the highest rating on the enhanced Fujita scale for tornadoes, indicating extreme destruction. The Eagle upgrade, which is the Trap-O-Matic, refers to the weapons setting laser tripwires. It's pretty self-explanatory. The Owl upgrade is Acid Rain, refers to the lethal cloud that rains down after firing this crossbow. Acid rain is a real-world phenomenon caused by atmospheric pollution, creating an acidic precipitation that dissolves certain materials. Now the Wolf upgrade is Ben Franklin, which is likely, and pretty obviously, a reference to Benjamin Franklin's kite experiment with electricity, referring to the weapon's electrical capabilities. Now the final weapon is so bland, it is the Venom X, which upgrades into Venom Y, and then again into Venom Z. Just like the Raging EMX that we covered earlier, it is just subsequently better upgrades. Now that has been all of Infinite Warfare's weapons and their pack-a-punch names and upgraded names explained, including all those bonus names from the weapons pack in Black Ops 3. Now, if you made it this far, I just want to say congrats, and I appreciate the hell out of you. And if you really enjoyed it, please leave a like. That definitely helps boost this video in the algorithm. It also gets, you know, more eyes on this type of content. If you so happen to enjoy this type of stuff, maybe somebody else would, and I think leaving a like and even subscribing would probably be the best to get it onto more people's eyes. You get the gist. Like it if you like the video, subscribe if you want more, because I will be posting more. It just gives, you know, it just takes a lot of time to create these types of videos. I'm not a person who does this 24/7. I wish I could, but I just can't. I have too much going on in my life, and, you know, I got a lot of shit going on in my life that definitely takes precedence over a side hustle like this. And I can't even really call it a side hustle since I'm not getting paid for this. This is just entirely for content's sake and for your and my enjoyment. Now, thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you all in the next time. See you when I see ya.